Hello and welcome again to the Rancher's Guide to Profit. I'm Clint Berry and I'm joined by Larry Keenan, Director of Breed Improvement with the Red Angus Association. Larry, in our last podcast, we discussed ERTs, or economically relevant traits, and you had mentioned total herd reporting. Can you explain a little bit about that and how it affects Red Angus's EPDs?
Clint, total herd reporting, or THR as we refer to it at Red Angus, began in 1995. Total herd reporting simply requires that each of our members report the production of each cow in their operation to us on an annual basis.
So Larry, that means that regardless of what kind of calf that individual dam raised that year, that information has to be reported, good, bad, or ugly.
Absolutely, Clint. Our members are required to report the annual production of each cow in their herd, regardless if that female comes up open or fails to produce a calf in the weaning pen. Furthermore, our members are required to report the performance of each calf through weaning as a requirement for registration.
So Larry, compared to other breed associations which allow their members to report data on only the animals that they select for registration, how does THR improve the reliability of Red Angus EPDs?
Clint, THR simply eliminates selection bias. Therefore, we have a better evaluation of each animal's genetics in that contemporary group. For example, if a producer who has 10 calves only reports his best 2, one of those calves will be below average. And obviously, that is not a true evaluation of those 2 calves as compared to their complete contemporary group.
Well, Larry, you were talking about contemporary groups. Can you explain to us what that is and why that's important?
Clint, the backbone of genetic evaluations is removal of the environment, and that is accomplished through contemporary grouping. Contemporary grouping is basically which animals were given the equal opportunity to perform.
Well, Larry, what are some of those things that define a contemporary group?
Well, the first, Clint, would be the producer. Because my calves will never be compared to your calves in a genetic evaluation. We further break that down into what animals were given a different environment within a producer's herd.
Larry, what about the differences in sex of the calf, as well as comparing like a first calf heifer to a 6-year-old cow?
Clint, those are 2 more examples of how we separate calves into different contemporary groups. 1, bulls, heifers, and steers are contemporary groups separately, as they perform differently. In addition, we separate progeny out of 2-year-old females, as we know those 2-year-olds are still growing. Therefore, their calves are not given the equal opportunity to perform.
Larry, we talked about the selection bias of the 2 best calves in your example, but what about the 8 inferior calves that the breeder didn't report data on?
Clint, that brings up another benefit of THR. Not only do we have a better genetic evaluation of the calves in the contemporary group, but we also have a better evaluation of the sires and dams that produce those progeny.
So Larry, is the benefit of THR an increase in quantity of data?
Certainly, THR increases the quantity of our data, but more importantly, THR increases the quality of the data used in our genetic evaluation, which results in more reliable genetic predictions for our bull customers to use in their selection decisions.
So Larry, you talked about the importance of THR and how it affects the reliability and accuracy of Red Angus EPDs. What are some of the other benefits?
Not only does THR increase the reliability of our EPDs, but it opens the door for the evaluation of other traits that you cannot evaluate without THR, such as heifer pregnancy, maintenance energy, and stayability. All 3 very important traits that greatly affect a producer's profitability.
Thank you again for joining us on this Rancher's Guide to Profit. Log on to redangus.org for a complete listing of other podcasts in this series.